to be greater than the rest of us. Aren't we all God's children?
And the Gang of Four wasn't a bad thing when I said that at the beginning. Remember, I said Korach with Dasan and Biram and Onmin and Pelis, but the Gang of Four. They were like the Bolsheviks. They were the communists. It could have been Lenin and Trotsky. It could have. That's who the crowd was, right? It was like, who are you to put yourself, stand on your moral high ground? Let's make it a power to the people. We're all equal here. Power to the people. No, America, one nation. We are not like the rest of the world, right? The rest of the world is not America. There's the current in America right now of some people that you mentioned, these liberals, who don't even want there to be America. They just one world, one God, or whatever, one people, please. No, Judaism says you can never have one people. There's at least two people. There's Jews and non-Jews. So right there, that's not going to work. And we live in America, and we're in America because we don't want to be like the rest of the world. So let the rest of the world all become one country, and we'll be the other country. All right, just want to throw that in there.
So God threatens to wipe out the Israelites, and Moshe pleads with God to not do it. So does Moshe change God's mind? Was God serious about wiping out the Israelites? Does God answer some people's prayers? He apparently listens to some people sometimes. So maybe like the great ones really can connect with God in a way that ordinary people do not.
Well, you're very great, and you seem to do very well with God.
Exactly.
Okay, keep going.
Collective punishment seems un-American and very unmodern. And I don't like it. I don't like the idea of murdering anyone except the wrongdoers. But here's the problem with this. If only wrongdoers get punished, where's the incentive for those around them in their community to shut them down? Why are we not more active in stopping crime? Because we think, the odds of us getting killed are small, let's just leave it for the police. But when there's going to be collective punishment, then you have an incentive to shut down the evildoers in your midst.
Right, so then you got to get into everybody's business and tell them what to do and ask them where they daven.
Some sins are more serious than others.
Right, okay, go ahead.
So I have an attractive female friend who can only get aroused by inappropriate relationships. She needs romantic attention from multiple men and gets off on a romantic intrigue. What would the Torah say about such a woman?
She should definitely date us.
We'll go to 12-step meetings.
She could be the third, number 3 hooker in
Kazakhstan.
Well, she's going to have a hard time getting off if that's what she needs, right? But maybe if she had her husband, right, and a really high-level vibrator, she might be able to, and a poster of Brad Pitt.
Or of me.
Yes, that might work. And, there you go. There's ways to work around that.
So generally speaking, those people who have a lust for power do horrible things with power. Take me, for instance. Ever since I was a little kid, I had this enormous lust for power. When I was a kid, I wanted to be president of the United States.
Hello.
And I still walk around with fantasies about being president of the United States.
Do you listen to yourself? Do you even listen to yourself anymore? You said at the beginning that somebody from the SDA church growing up is not going to be able to say, "Oh, I want to be president of the United States." And now you're telling me that when you were a kid, you wanted to be president of the United States.
Yeah, I wanted to be president of the United States. I was talking about Seventh-day Adventists in general, not.
Oh, not you.
I'm a weirdo.
Oh, okay.
I'm an exception.
Okay, fine.
So this lust for power usually comes from personal shortcomings. It certainly does in my case. If I felt more control over my life as a kid or even as an adult, I wouldn't always be having these fantasies. It's I'm so powerful and this woman needs me, so she's willing to totally degrade herself so that she can get what she wants from me. Oh, that's such a hot fantasy. I'm really digging this right now. So that's kind of a creepy insight into my personal life.
Yeah, it is a little bit creepy.
But these lusts for power, it's a way to mask my feelings of inadequacy. So Al Gore purportedly said during the 2000 campaign that George Bush lost, he'd be okay. He'd just go on with his life. While Al Gore, if he lost, he'd be devastated. So the most noble leaders tend to be the people like Moshe who do not lust for power. Like I've spent much of my therapy talking about my lust for glory and for power, and that's why I should never get any.
It says, he who, what?
He who chases after honor, honor will flee from.
And he who
Runs
flees
from
from
honor,
honor, honor will
be-
catch him and mow him down. Right, exactly.
If the Torah was written by Moshe without God's guidance, then who is Moshe that we should obey him? That's basically Korach's point. Like, who the hell is Moshe? He's not so big. But the reason that the Torah is authoritative because it comes from Hashem through Moses. Who's your favorite tortured gay poet? Can a poet ever get too gay or too tortured for your taste? Does tortured and gay go together like ham and eggs? Have you ever journeyed to Brokeback Mountain? Have you played Stem the Rose?
I have no idea what any of that means. Can you explain at least what that means?
Well, I'm on Jewish Journal email list, and so they send emails like 2 or 3 times a day with some story that they're working on. And so the headline for one was on tortured gay poet Joe Blow, and I thought tortured gay poet. I mean, isn't that like the quintessential like liberal fetish, like tortured gay poet? And so I just love that those 3 words, tortured gay poet.
I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to tell you something. I got to get this off my chest. I want to get your feedback on it because you're an intellectual. You're a self-described intellectual, right? Some actor, I don't know these people. I don't know anybody. I'm not. I'm like I learn Torah all day. I don't involve myself.
In goyship pursuits.
Yes, some actor, 51 years old, married. An actress, 16 years old. Now, I know what your attitude is on that because we already discussed that. Because when Mark Sanchez was with the 17-year-old, you were like, oh, blah, 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 blah. You got in a huge fight and almost crushed your head, right? Okay, so I'm not asking you to opinionate on that. Just wait till they get to the money shot here, okay? So my attitude was, I got in a discussion with some people about this today, and I was on my own. Nobody else agreed with me on this, which is fine. I'm used to that. I said, no problem. What's the problem? According to Torah, according to the state law of where this actress lived, she's an adult. She's a consenting adult. They get married. What's the problem? They're saying, oh, but she's not an adult yet. She can't make a, she can't, she's not able, she doesn't have the maturity to make
such a decision.
Make such a decision. I'm thinking to myself, well, that might apply if, let's say, like he was taking advantage of her. But he did like the gentleman thing. He married her. He made her an honest woman, as they say. You know what I mean? He married her. What's the problem? Right? If she discovers down the line this isn't the guy for him, she can divorce him or whatever. But it's not like he's just banging her, right? He's not just pounding her. He's like, and for all we know, the parents are fine with it, and all his motivations are fine, right? I was 45 and I got engaged to
16-year-old woman.
19. She was 19. She just turned 19. And like now I'm 50, and
you could totally be engaged with
I'm
a
involved
16-year-old.
with another teenager.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, does that make me like some sort of, like they were using the words like predator. Like, does that make me a predator? Does that make me a pedophile? It only makes me that if you consider teenagers kids and not adults, right? And I'm saying that's your problem. Because the law and the Torah, the secular law and the Torah both agree that you're wrong. That in America we consider everybody who's 18 as an adult. Right? Everybody. Doesn't matter where you are. But these people were treating 18-year-olds as if they're still kids. Which I get really offended by when I hear that. I get really offended by that. I just want to kill somebody when I hear them say that an 18-year-old is a kid. From 2 directions. I hated it because I had to live through that. When I watch people pick on my fiance, right? I had to live with that, and I circle back to when I was 18, and people say, like my dad.
And that's right, and you were dating a 51-year-old woman when you were 18.
That's right.
And people would make fun of you.
I'm
she
a
had
gigolo.
varicose veins. And, she was pretty sloppy, and
there's all that.
And she, her hair was falling out.
There's that.
She wore false teeth, and.
Right.
Yeah, and so a lot of your friends were making fun of you.
Yeah, there was all that.
A lot of her friends were making fun of her.
No, I was thinking more.
So I don't have a problem with this, but I mean, I admit I would make fun of you behind your back.
Okay, but this isn't.
I'm
not bringing you in yet. Just chill.